Some songs make you cry, but this one has made people bleed. In the Philippines, a karaoke performance has ended in murder. Over a dozen lives cut short, underscored by one song. They say the song is cursed, transforming joy into violence. This is real, documented, and terrifyingly true. Welcome to Mr. Night Terror. Tonight we journey to the Philippines. It is the story of a song that kills. Let me tell you the story of Frank Sinatra's My Way. In the Philippines, Videoke is a national pastime. From cities to villages, the sound of singing fills the air. But Frank Sinatra's My Way has earned a dark reputation. Linked to murders and brawls, some bars ban it. Imagine, the song starts, the mood shifts. A wrong note could trigger violence. Tonight we explore this intersection of music and murder, a modern folktale where the horror is all too real. To understand the My Way curse, one must understand videoke's significance in Filipino culture. In the Philippines, videoke is a serious affair, a deeply ingrained part of everyday life. It is a great equalizer where people express themselves through song. These sessions happen in private rooms, open-air bars, and even sidewalks. The atmosphere is charged with supportive camaraderie and intense competition. The combination of alcohol and cultural emphasis on self-pride creates a volatile environment. It is within this dynamic that the My Way curse finds its fertile ground, amplifying latent tensions. This is the dark heart of videoke, where a song of pride can lead to a violent fall. To understand the My Way curse, you must first understand the soul of the Philippines. And that soul, more often than not, is expressed through song. Music is the lifeblood of the culture. At the very heart of this musical obsession is videoke. It is a cultural institution that binds families, friends, and even strangers together. Videoke is omnipresent. It is the centerpiece of every significant life event. This love for singing is deeply rooted in the Filipino identity. Because videoke is so important, the act of singing is taken very seriously. This is where the potential for conflict begins to form. The very passion that makes videoke a source of immense community pride can also make it a breeding ground for personal slights. Videoke's popularity in the Philippines stems from its accessibility. For a few pesos, anyone can be a star. This Five-Peso Stage is found everywhere, from eateries to KTV bars. The lyrics guide the singer. It's a moment of self-expression and escapism. The shared experience creates community, but high demand can lead to disputes. The accessible stage can become contested territory. Filipino videoke culture operates on unspoken rules. Violating these can lead to serious consequences. The first rule is to respect the cue. Another crucial rule involves the microphone itself. Monopolizing the mic is a common trigger for conflict. The choice of song is also a delicate matter. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, is the rule of giving face. Open disrespect for a performer often lights the fuse of videoke violence. These rules keep the fun from careening into chaos. The atmosphere of a Filipino videoke night is a potent cocktail, mixing potent ingredients that can be both euphoric and explosive. The first ingredient is, almost invariably, alcohol. Beer, rum, and local spirits are an essential part of the social lubrication that gets people relaxed and confident enough to sing. Drinks are shared generously, and as the night wears on, inhibitions lower while emotions heighten. This state of intoxication can amplify every feeling, turning small annoyances into major grievances and friendly banter into perceived insults. Judgment becomes clouded, and reactions become more impulsive and aggressive. The second ingredient is a concept central to Filipino psychology, amor propio. This Spanish term meaning self-pride is a powerful force. It is a deeply ingrained sense of self-esteem that must be protected at all costs. To be publicly shamed or embarrassed is a profound wound to one's amor propio. In the high-stakes arena of videoke, the risk of hiya is immense. A bad performance, a critical remark, or being laughed at can be felt as a deep personal attack that demands a forceful response. The third ingredient is machismo, a strong sense of masculine pride. For many men, the videoke stage becomes a place to assert dominance and social status. Being outsung or criticized by another man can be seen as a direct challenge to one's masculinity. This competitive spirit creates a particularly volatile dynamic. Disagreements that might otherwise be laughed off can escalate into physical confrontations. When you mix these three ingredients, alcohol, amor propio, and machismo, in the tight, crowded space of a videoke bar, you create a perfect storm. The pressure to perform well is immense, and the social stakes are incredibly high. Every person in the room is both a performer and a judge, where the lines between celebration and confrontation are dangerously thin. It is a delicate balance that can be shattered in an instant, turning a night of camaraderie into a scene of chaos and violence. This is the environment that has allowed a simple song to become a catalyst for murder. As the night deepens in a typical Videoke bar, you can feel a shift in the energy. The initial hours are often filled with lighthearted fun and easygoing camaraderie. But as more drinks are consumed and the crowd grows larger, the air becomes thick with a new kind of intensity. The fun begins to take on a sharper, more competitive edge. The friendly competition slowly morphs into a silent, unspoken duel. This is the point where the social fabric begins to fray. Small grievances begin to pile up, like clouds gathering before a thunderstorm. And often that spark is a song. When a singer steps up to perform this song, they are unknowingly stepping into the center of this gathering storm. In the Philippines, that song is Frank Sinatra's My Way, and its opening notes are often the sound of the storm finally breaking. The My Way curse has many chapters, each written in blood. In May 2007, a small karaoke bar in San Mateo became the epicenter. It was a place like countless others across the Philippines where people gathered to unwind. Among them was Romy Baligula, an ordinary man wanting to sing. He chose Frank Sinatra's My Way, unaware of its dark reputation. This simple act was a gamble with his own life. He was about to become the curse's most infamous victim. The bar's security guard, Robilito Ortega, maintained order in the often rowdy Filipino nightlife. When Romy Baligula sang karaoke, his off-key performance offended Robilito. The guard warned Romy to stop, but Romy ignored him and continued singing. This defiance was the final straw. Robilito felt his authority challenged, the social contract broken. Romy Baligula gripped the microphone, defiant as the infamous lyrics echoed, "And now, the end is near." The bar's tension was palpable, every eye fixed on Romy and the furious security guard, Robilito Ortega. Without warning, Ortega drew his revolver and fired. The music stopped, Romy collapsed. Panic erupted, the final curtain had fallen. The whispered curse of My Way had just claimed another victim. Romy Baligula's death became a national sensation, killed for singing off-key. The media frenzy exposed a pattern, My Way, linked to violence across the Philippines. The term My Way killings entered the public lexicon, fueling fear and superstition. Bars began removing the song from playlists, manufacturers dropped it from machines. The song was now taboo, its melody silenced by collective dread. Was it the lyrics, the pride, or something darker? One thing was clear, the curse had gone viral. Romy's death transformed the My Way curse into a chilling legend. The story became a modern folktale. Innocent song, deadly consequence. Fear spread, people stopped friends from singing it, bars intervened. The song's reputation fed itself, inspiring both dread and copycats. My Way was now haunted, its opening notes enough to silence a room. The legend, baptized in blood, cast a shadow over every Videoke night. Reporters uncovered a grim pattern. My Way killings stretching back to the late 1990s. Disputes over pride, performance, or the mic itself ended in violence. Stabbings, shootings, lives lost. The song became a catalyst, its lyrics twisted into a challenge. Ordinary people, fueled by alcohol and wounded egos, crossed fatal lines. Romy's death was just the most public tragedy in a long, dark history. The curse was real, not supernatural but terrifyingly human. The panic spread nationwide, city slums, rural towns, no place was immune. Each new story echoed the same pattern. My Way, a bruised ego, sudden violence, a laugh at a bad performance, a singer refusing to yield the mic, fatal mistakes. Arguments spilled into the street, ending in bloodshed. The legend grew, whispered in bars and reported in headlines. Singing My Way became a game of Russian roulette. The curse was now a documented social sickness. In 2018, a birthday party in Dipolog turned deadly over My Way. A dispute between neighbors escalated from words to violence. The younger man left, returned with a knife, and fatally stabbed the celebrant. The party dissolved into chaos, another life lost to the song's curse. The tragedy proved the legend was alive, ready to strike at any celebration. My Way remained a melody with a deadly reputation. The reach of the My Way curse extended even into the realm of local politics, proving that no one was immune to its violent grasp. In Tondo, one of Manila's densest and toughest districts, a barangay chairman was just relaxing with friends. Like so many others, his chosen way to unwind was with a Videoke session. He was a public figure, a man of authority in his community, simply enjoying a moment of leisure. He was singing into the microphone, his voice echoing through the narrow streets, when death came for him, arriving swiftly and without warning on the back of a motorcycle. The scene was terrifyingly efficient. Two unidentified men, their faces likely obscured, rode up on a motorcycle. They were what Filipinos call riding in tandem assassins, a common method for carrying out targeted hits in the country. They slowed down just long enough to identify their target, the barangay chairman, right in the middle of his karaoke performance. Without dismounting, one of the men drew a gun and opened fire. The loud pop of the gunshots momentarily drowned out the music. The chairman fell, his song cut short in the most brutal way imaginable. The assassins did not linger. Their deadly work done, they sped off, disappearing back into the chaotic labyrinth of Tondo's streets, leaving behind a scene of panic and bloodshed. While the official motive was never definitively established as being related to the song itself, political assassinations are a grim reality in parts of the Philippines. The context was impossible for the public to ignore. The chairman was killed while singing. The story immediately became intertwined with the ever-growing legend of the My Way curse. This incident demonstrated how the curse had become a cultural touchstone for violence. Any murder that occurred in the vicinity of a Videoke machine, especially if the victim was singing, was now viewed through the lens of the My Way killings. The song's reputation was so powerful that it could cast a shadow of suspicion over any act of violence that happened during a karaoke session. It was a chilling example of how the legend had taken on a life of its own. The performance had become inseparable from the peril. For every My Way killing that makes the national news, there are dozens, maybe even hundreds of other incidents that go unreported or are quickly forgotten. These are the smaller battles in the unreported war waged in Videoke bars across the country. They are the non-fatal stabbings, the brawls that end in broken bones and shattered teeth, and the countless near misses where a situation almost boils over into deadly violence before someone manages to intervene. These events don't generate headlines, but they are honestly a crucial part of the fabric of the curse, demonstrating the sheer frequency with which this one song incites aggression. Police blotters in local precincts are filled with these lesser tales of Videoke-fueled rage. A typical entry might read, "A fistfight broke out between two men after one criticized the other's rendition of My Way." Or, "A man was arrested for smashing a beer bottle over another man's head during an argument about monopolizing the microphone to sing the Sinatra classic." These brief, dispassionate accounts paint a grim picture of the constant, low-level violence that bubbles just beneath the surface of this national pastime. They are the tremors that warn of the larger earthquake. Many more incidents are never officially reported at all. In tight-knit communities, disputes are often settled informally, without involving the police. A bar owner might break up a fight and ban the instigators, eager to avoid any official attention that could threaten their business license. Victims, especially if their injuries aren't life-threatening, may choose not to press charges out of fear of reprisal or a desire to avoid the hassle of the justice system. These stories then become local legends, cautionary tales told among regulars, adding to the song's fearsome reputation on a grassroots level. This constant undercurrent of violence creates an environment of perpetual tension surrounding the song. It means that anyone stepping up to sing My Way is doing so against a backdrop of known risk. They are aware, as is the audience, that this particular performance is different, that it carries a weight and a danger that other songs do not. This collective awareness becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The expectation of violence makes violence more likely. The unreported war, fought in skirmishes every weekend, is what keeps the legend potent and ensures that the curse of My Way continues to claim victims, both in body and in fear. These incidents reveal a clear pattern. They are linked to the performance of one song. My Way has become an anthem of aggression in the Philippines. Its performance is a high-stakes social ritual. The quality of the performance is a trigger. A terrible rendition is seen as disrespectful. It can provoke a violent reaction. Conversely, a performance that is too good can be seen as an unbearable display of hubris. It's an act of social dominance. The song operates as a catalyst for conflict. It activates the tripwires of amor proprio and machismo. It isolates the performer and places them in social peril. The song has become a weapon. To understand why a simple song can trigger such extreme violence, we must first look at the words themselves. The lyrics are a powerful, unapologetic declaration of individualism. In the charged atmosphere of a Videoke bar, this can be perceived as an act of supreme arrogance. Pop culture scholars point to this lyrical content as a primary trigger. It's a lyrical middle finger to the world, a dangerous sentiment in a culture that values group harmony. My Way is, in essence, the ultimate Mayabang anthem, likely to provoke hostility. The music of My Way itself plays a crucial role in stoking conflict. It's a masterclass in musical tension, designed to evoke feelings of pride and victory. For the singer, it's empowering. For the audience, it can be provocative. Vocal coaches warn of its perilous structure. The melody is difficult to sing well. The music makes a poor performance sound worse, amplifying failure. The triumphant melody can breed a dangerous sense of pride. It's a musical declaration of dominance. This makes My Way a potent catalyst for violence. The soaring strings fan the flames of ego while grating on the nerves of listeners. It's a perfect storm where performing with confidence is what makes it so dangerous. While the song itself provides the spark, the explosion that follows is fueled by a volatile cocktail of environmental and cultural factors. The first and most obvious ingredient is alcohol. Videoke and drinking go hand in hand in the Philippines. The steady flow of beer and hard liquor serves to lower inhibitions, erode judgment, and amplify emotions. Under the influence of alcohol, a minor annoyance can feel like a major offense. A perceived slight can feel like an unbearable attack on one's honor. Alcohol strips away the veneer of social grace, leaving raw, aggressive impulses much closer to the surface and ready to erupt with minimal provocation. The second ingredient is the physical environment itself. Filipino videoke bars are often small, densely packed, and poorly ventilated. These cramped conditions create a sense of heightened tension and physical unease. There is no personal space, no easy escape. Every interaction is magnified and every conflict is immediately public. This lack of breathing room means that when a dispute breaks out, it is instantly confrontational. Patrons are forced into the roles of spectators or participants, and the claustrophobic setting can make a tense situation feel even more threatening and inescapable, trapping the combatants in a pressure cooker. The third, and perhaps most crucial ingredient, is the cultural concept of machismo. In this context, masculinity is often performative, defined by a man's ability to command respect and refusal to back down from a challenge. The videoke stage becomes an arena where this masculine pride, or amor proprio, is put on public display. To be outsung, criticized, or laughed at can be perceived as a deep public humiliation, a wound to one's manhood that must be avenged to restore face. My Way, with its themes of defiant self-reliance, is the ultimate macho anthem, and its performance is a high-stakes gamble in this game of pride. When you mix these three elements, copious amounts of alcohol, crowded and uncomfortable spaces, and a culture of performative masculinity where pride is paramount, you create the perfect breeding ground for violence. The song My Way acts as a catalyst, dropped into this already unstable mixture. It agitates the pride, challenges the machismo, and focuses all the free-floating aggression in the room onto a single target, the singer. It is this deadly combination of factors that has allowed a song to become a recurring trigger for murder, turning bars into battlegrounds. Beyond psychological reasons for the violence, superstition is at play. As killings grew, so did the belief the song was cursed. For many Filipinos, it is genuinely considered unlucky, a bad omen that invites violence and death. This belief shapes behavior and reinforces the song's deadly reputation. Many will avoid singing it, even alone, out of caution. They'll say it's better to be safe than sorry. The belief in the curse creates a self-perpetuating cycle of fear and violence. Because people believe the song is cursed, they are already on high alert when it is performed. The superstition itself creates the hostile atmosphere that makes violence more likely. The My Way curse fits perfectly into this worldview. The community's response provides compelling evidence of the curse. Following the media storm in 2007, a widespread ban on My Way swept the Philippines. Bar owners, terrified of violence, systematically removed the song from their machines. It was an act of self-preservation. This was about managing public perception and superstition. The ban became a commercial necessity. This turned the song into a taboo. Its absence is more powerful than its presence. The ban cemented its mythical status. A silent monument to the only song so deadly it had to be erased. When we strip away the layers of superstition and myth, what remains is a terrifying truth. The My Way curse is not supernatural, it is a curse of human nature. The song did not create the violence, it merely exposed the darkness that was already there. It is a perfect diagnostic tool, a cultural litmus test that reveals the volatile mix of pride, insecurity, and aggression simmering just beneath the surface of our social interactions. The true horror of the My Way killings is not that a song can be cursed, but that human beings can be so easily provoked into committing murder over something so trivial. The phenomenon serves as a chilling case study in social psychology. It demonstrates how a specific cultural context can imbue an ordinary object, in this case, a song, with extraordinary and dangerous meaning. The Filipino concepts of amor propio and hiya, the pressures of machismo, and the disinhibiting effects of alcohol all combine to create a unique environment where the song's message of defiant pride becomes a catalyst for bloodshed. The curse is not in the vinyl grooves or the digital code of the song, it is embedded in the cultural software of the people listening to it. This is why the curse is so potent in the Philippines, even though the song is a global classic. While karaoke rage exists in other countries, it has never been so consistently and repeatedly tied to a single song. The violence is a reflection of specific social pressures and cultural values. My Way just happens to be the key that perfectly fits the lock on a Pandora's box of repressed frustrations and fragile egos. The song's power is not universal, it is intensely local, a product of a specific time, place, and people. It holds up a mirror to a specific society, and the reflection is, at times, horrifying. Ultimately, the story of the My Way killings is a profound and disturbing cautionary tale. It reminds us how thin the veneer of civilization can be, and how quickly a night of joy can descend into a nightmare of violence. It shows us that the most terrifying monsters are not ghosts or demons, but the familiar demons of our own pride and anger. The song itself is innocent. The curse is us. It is the darkness we carry inside, waiting for the right melody to be called out into the open. That is the true, enduring horror of the song they call My Way. Karaoke rage isn't unique to the Philippines. Alcohol, public performance, and fragile egos have fueled violence in karaoke bars worldwide. From the United States to East Asia, singing in front of a crowd has ended in bloodshed. Disputes over microphones or poor singing have led to deadly altercations. These incidents reveal a universal truth about the dark side of karaoke. Public vulnerability, social judgment, and intoxication create a volatile mix. This global context highlights that the violence in the Philippines is an extreme manifestation of a wider trend. Even though karaoke rage is a global issue, the situation in the Philippines remains disturbingly unique. Nowhere else in the world has the violence become so inextricably linked to a single song. While a bar fight in Thailand might be triggered by a local rock anthem, or a brawl in America by a country classic, these are isolated incidents with no recurring villain. In the Philippines, however, My Way has become a serial offender, a named and recognized catalyst for murder. This specificity is what elevates the phenomenon from a series of tragic coincidences into the realm of a genuine terrifying curse with a life of its own. The sheer scale and frequency of the My Way killings are also unparalleled. While other countries may have a handful of documented cases of karaoke-related deaths spread out over many years, the Philippines has at least a dozen well-known murders tied to this one song, along with countless other unreported fights and stabbings. The violence is more concentrated, more consistent, and more deeply embedded in the public consciousness. This has created a level of national fear and superstition that simply does not exist elsewhere. No other country has seen widespread, voluntary bans of a popular song by bar owners trying to prevent bloodshed. This unique focus on My Way is a direct result of the song's perfect alignment with specific Filipino cultural pressures. The concept of amor propio, or self-pride, is the critical variable. While pride is a universal human emotion, amor propio is a particularly sensitive and potent cultural force in the Philippines, and My Way is the ultimate anthem of pride. The song's lyrics and triumphant melody act as a powerful amplifier for these specific cultural anxieties in a way that other songs do not. It is a case of the right song in the wrong place at the wrong time, over and over again. Therefore, while it is important to acknowledge that karaoke can be dangerous anywhere, it is a mistake to dismiss the Philippine situation as just another example of the same problem. The My Way curse is a distinct cultural phenomenon, a perfect storm where a global pastime collides with local sensitivities, amplified by a song whose message of defiant individualism is dangerously at odds with the communal and pride-driven nature of a Videoke night. The curse is a uniquely Filipino nightmare, even if its echoes can be heard in the karaoke bars of other nations. Why did Frank Sinatra's My Way become the epicenter of this storm of violence? The answer lies in the song's ability to concentrate tensions into a single performance. It is a lightning rod that channels negative energy at the singer. My Way is a solo performance, a spotlight on the self, offering no room for communal fun, only individual judgment. It isolates the singer, making them the target of contempt. The song forces the audience to pass a verdict on the performer's character. My Way became the trigger for social anxieties in Filipino videoke culture. It combines volatile elements perfectly. It is the eye of the hurricane. The journey of My Way, from a beloved classic to a deadly taboo, began in the late 90s with whispers of violence in the Philippines. Over the years, incidents added to the song's dark reputation. 2007 marked a turning point after a public execution. The curse became a media sensation, leading to a Videoke purge. The song was branded a public menace, avoided out of dread. Even in the internet age, the taboo persists. Today the song exists in limbo, a ghost haunting the Filipino videoke scene. The My Way. Killings became such a consistent and public problem that they eventually attracted the attention of the government. This was no longer just a matter for local police precincts, it was a nationwide social issue that demanded a response from higher authorities. The phenomenon presented a bizarre and unique dilemma for lawmakers and public officials. How does a government legislate against a song? How do you protect citizens from a threat that is, at its core, a complex mixture of cultural pride, alcohol abuse, and musical taste? There were no easy answers, and the proposed solutions were as strange as the problem itself. One of the most serious proposals considered was the implementation of karaoke curfews. In several districts, particularly in urban areas where videoke bars were numerous and densely packed, local governments debated forcing these establishments to shut down earlier. The logic was simple. Less time for late-night drinking would mean less opportunity for alcohol-fueled violence to erupt. These proposals were met with mixed reactions. Bar owners protested, arguing that it would cripple their businesses. Patrons complained that it was an overreach of government power. The debate highlighted the deep cultural importance of videoke. It was not something that could be easily restricted. Other officials took a more direct approach, publicly advising their constituents to simply avoid singing the song. This was a form of governance through public service announcement, an official acknowledgement of the curse's reality. Mayors and police chiefs would issue informal warnings, urging people to choose a different song for the sake of public order. It was a surreal moment in public administration, where government leaders were forced to weigh in on the playlist of the nation, treating a pop song with the same caution as a public health risk or a natural disaster. Ultimately, no nationwide law was ever passed to ban My Way or to broadly restrict karaoke. The problem was too slippery, too rooted in human behavior to be solved with a simple piece of legislation. The government's dilemma revealed the limits of its own power. It could not force people to be less proud. It could not erase a song from the collective memory. The most effective solution came not from the top down, but from the bottom up. From the bar owners and the singers themselves who chose to enforce their own ban. The government could only watch as society tried to solve this deadly puzzle on its own. So, after this journey into the dark heart of videoke, we must ask, is the curse of My Way a literal legend or a harsh reality? The answer, as is often the case in the world of true horror, is both. The legend is the supernatural explanation, the idea that the song itself is a malevolent entity, a haunted melody that possesses singers and drives listeners to kill. This is the story whispered in bars, the myth that sends a shiver down your spine. It is a compelling narrative that provides a simple if terrifying explanation for a series of senseless acts. The reality, however, is arguably more disturbing. The reality is that the curse is a product of the human condition. It is a real and measurable phenomenon rooted in a volatile mix of psychology, sociology, and culture. The pride of amor proprio, the performative pressures of machismo, the disinhibition of alcohol, and the claustrophobic environment of a videoke bar are all real, tangible factors. The song My Way is simply the perfect catalyst, the key that unlocks a darkness that already resides within us. The reality is that we do not need a supernatural curse to explain why people kill each other over a song. We only need to look at ourselves. The legend and the reality feed each other in a perpetual loop. The real violence gives birth to the legend. The legend in turn creates an atmosphere of fear and expectation that makes future violence more likely, thus reinforcing the reality of the danger. It is impossible to fully separate the two. A singer who chooses My Way today is not just performing a song, they are interacting with its entire bloody history with both the real and the imagined threat. They are consciously or unconsciously playing with the fire of the legend itself. This is what makes the My Way curse such an enduring and fascinating horror story. It exists in the murky space between fact and folklore. It is a documented pattern of real-world violence that has taken on the characteristics of a ghost story. The bodies are real, the grief is real, the fear is real, but the story we tell ourselves about why it happens has drifted into the realm of the supernatural. The true horror lies in the fact that the most mundane aspects of human nature, our pride, our anger, our desire for respect, can, under the right circumstances, create a reality that is as terrifying as any legend. The ultimate legacy of the My Way curse is not a sound, but a silence. It is the silence of a song removed from a playlist. It is the silence of a bar owner who refuses to take the risk. It is the silence of a singer who nervously skips past song number 1024 in the book, choosing a safer melody. This lingering silence is a testament to the curse's power. The fear has become so deeply ingrained that the absence of the song is now a permanent feature of the Filipino Videoke landscape. The most effective way to survive the curse, society decided, was to stop playing the game. This silence speaks volumes about our relationship with music and violence. It shows us that a song is never just a song, it is a cultural artifact imbued with the emotions, memories, and meanings that we project onto it. My Way has been saturated with so much violence and tragedy that its original meaning has been almost completely erased in the Philippines. It is no longer a song about a life lived without regret. It is a song about a death met with violence. This transformation is a powerful reminder that the meaning of art is not fixed. It is shaped by the culture that consumes it. The silence also forces us to reflect on the nature of human behavior. The My Way killings are a stark illustration of how easily our social rituals can break down. A pastime designed to foster community and joy became a recurring catalyst for murder. It reveals the fragility of our social contracts and the thinness of the line between celebration and confrontation. The fact that the only viable solution was to remove the trigger rather than address the underlying issues of pride and violence is a sobering admission of how difficult it is to change the darkest parts of our own nature. And so the song remains in its self-imposed exile, a ghost in the machine. Its silence is a memorial to the dozen or more lives it claimed, and a constant humming warning to all who enter a videoke bar. It is a chilling reminder that some melodies are too dangerous to sing, not because they are haunted by spirits, but because they are haunted by the all-too-real failings of the human heart. The silence is the scar left behind by the curse, a permanent mark on the soul of a nation's favorite pastime. We have traveled through the neon-lit nights of the Philippines, we have witnessed the bloodshed, and we have dissected the psychology of a cursed song. We are left with a story that is as tragic as it is bizarre. The My Way killings show us how a perfect storm of pride, alcohol, and superstition can transform a simple pop song into a lethal weapon. It is a real-life horror story that reveals more about the darkness within us than any fictional tale ever could. It proves that the most terrifying monsters are the ones we see in the mirror. The final question, then, is not about the curse, but about you. After hearing these stories, after understanding the risks, would you dare to sing it? Would you be willing to step up to that microphone in a crowded room in Manila and bet your life on your ability to win over the crowd? It is a question that forces us to confront our own pride, our own confidence, and our own fear. The song has become the ultimate test of nerve, a dare whispered from the shadows of a dark and violent history. This is just the beginning. And if you felt even a shiver tonight, please consider subscribing to Mr. Night Terror. I'm building this haunted little corner of the internet from scratch, just me, these stories, and your courage to listen. Your one click can help keep this channel alive, and keep the nightmares coming. I promise the darkness only gets deeper from here. Before you go, I want you to think about this. Every culture has its own taboos, its own forbidden songs or stories. What song would you ban if you could? Let us know in the comments. Join the conversation and stay safe in the shadows.